Good morning. Today is day 8. The title of our devotional today is Character is Built Here. Romans 5 verses 3 and 5 says, "Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, perseverance character, and character hope. And hope does not put us to shame, because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us." Now that word glory kind of threw me off at first. Paul's not saying that we're supposed to be happy about our suffering and pretend that our suffering doesn't hurt. He's saying that when we understand what suffering is actually doing within us, that we can find something worth holding on to even in the middle of that. And what it's doing in us, it's building something that can't be built any other way. So the sequence that Paul lays out, it's worth a closer look. Suffering produces perseverance, and perseverance produces character, and character produces hope. That's not a random order. Every step requires the one before it. You don't get the character without the perseverance, and you don't get the perseverance without going through something hard enough to require it. So right now you might be going through something that's hard enough to require it. Character is not something that we are only when life is easy and everything's going our way. Character is what's left when everything else is stripped away, and we find out what we're really made of. So the man or the woman that you're becoming in this season of your life, the one that gets up and goes to work anyway, even though you'd rather stay in bed, or you stay sober when you have every excuse not to, or you keep fighting for your children when you feel like obstacles are just impossible. That creates something within you that you can't have any other way. James 1, 2 through 4 says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face many trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." So the testing of your faith is not a sign that your faith is weak. It's the very thing that makes your faith strong. You don't build muscle by sitting around on the couch all day. You build it by putting it under a load. You go to the gym, you work out, you go outside and pick up rocks. And look, I know the load that you're carrying right now might be really heavy, but it's doing something within you that comfort never will. So every day that you choose to do the next thing that's right, even though it's harder than the softer, easier, wrong thing, that creates character. That's character being shaped and formed in you in real time. Hebrews 12 verse 11 says, "No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful later on. However, it produces a harvest of righteousness for those who have been trained by it." So listen, your harvest is coming. And it may not look like it from where you're standing right now. But the seed that you plant right now, God will water that. And you will reap a harvest in due time. So the man or woman that your children are going to see when they're adults, or your grandchildren when they're adults, that man or woman's being built right now, in this season of your life, through this pressure. And it's not just something that we say to make ourselves feel better. It's the truth. God tells us that. So what's one character trait in your life that you want your children to see in you someday? And what's one thing that today you can do to help work towards that? Be blessed by the best. We'll see you tomorrow.